Good evening, everybody. What a treat. We just chanted the Gatha on opening the sutra, and we could think that it refers to the Dharma talk, which it does, but it also refers to every moment of our lives. Right? The Dharma, we are continually receiving all of the phenomena that make up our moment-by-moment experience. So when we have a Dharma talk, we particularly pay attention, but may we all really pay attention to our lives. And I imagine that everybody here does that, actually, or you wouldn't be here. This sanctuary of sanity, the sanity of sitting together, so simply, for a while, being in close company with each other and breathing, relaxing the thinking mind, being released from being busy. Lovely. So today I'd like to talk about a verse that we chant every other Sunday, titled The Precious Mirror Samadhi. This is part of an attempt to demystify a lot of the chants that we do, so that we can become more comfortable doing them if we don't have a sense of what they're about. The thing about the chanting service is it's very old. These verses have been around a long time, and we learn them slowly as we chant them over time, and slowly they reveal themselves to us. Through our own experience, we will recall a phrase or an image from one of these chants, and it will be aha, I see. So Precious Mirror Samadhi, which is known in Japanese as Hokyo Zanmai, so you'll hear that referred to by that title. It's attributed to Tozan Zenji, his name is Tozan Zenji in Japanese, and in Chinese it's Dongshan Liangjie, which is one of the names in our lineage. He lived from 807 to 869. It was a while ago. So this is a really old teaching. And that was the Tang Dynasty in China. Became a monk in childhood, and then studied extensively with Nanquan and Guishan, who are two teachers whose names you may, if you study koans, you may become familiar with. And then he was a Dharma heir of Yunshan Tongshen, who's also in our lineage. He is the 10th generation after Bodhidharma. So this goes back. Tozan Zenji is regarded as the founder of the Chaodong school of Chinese Buddhism. So there were 5 schools, and the Chaodong is one of them. And I use these names because it's nice to become familiar with some of the culture, the Zen culture, because it has a long and complex history. Precious Mirror Samadhi is a poetic presentation of the kinds of insights into the nature of awareness that's born of deep concentrative states. And when we're doing Zazen, we are free to become very concentrated in the moment, this moment. It's a poem that we chant as a sutra. Usually a sutra is a teaching of the Buddha, but this is not from Shakyamuni Buddha, but this is from Tozan Buddha, a realized person who has really understood the meaning of the Buddhist teachings. We'll be exploring this poem more closely during Rohatsu Sesshin, which is coming up. This is the sesshin that celebrates the Buddha's enlightenment, and I prompt all of you to sign up either for the whole thing or for at least a day, a full day of it. It's a wonderful support. When we do retreats, it's a wonderful support for our practice that comes from long sitting, long and concentrated sitting. And without giving ourselves over to this kind of protracted practice, which is undisturbed and undivided and undistracted, it's difficult to experience the depth of concentration, to experience the mind from distraction and the hold of thought, to really free ourselves from that. So this poem encourages us and inspires us to set aside our daily routines and give ourselves fully over to Zazen. And even if it's not at a retreat, when you sit down, really give yourself over. In my experience, it takes a bit of the session of sitting to drop everything. All of the tapes are running for a while, but then you get to a place where you really remember and just come back, relax, and be very present. When we do this, this poem becomes transparent to us. But without that quality of concentration, it can be pretty perplexing, as a lot of Zen teachings are, until we have tasted the mind that is fully open and relaxed and free of thought. So Zazen Samadhi is a precious treasure house of clarity, and it's not reached by thought or words. So I'll do my best to use words to encourage and point to Samadhi, because you may wonder what it means, what it refers to. I was reminded during one of my sanzens today of this exchange I had with my own teacher, Chosen. I said to her once, I think I've experienced Samadhi. And she said, oh, that's funny. It's kind of like saying, I think I've had given birth. It's not something you wonder about when the mind really just lets go. So, with that said, I'd like to lay out a few words about Precious Mirror Samadhi, so that we have some familiarity with it when we chant it during the service tonight. We'll be doing it tonight. Samadhi itself intimately unfolds for us over the course of a lifetime of practice. It is inevitable if we practice, if we persist in practice, to discover this mind, this free mind. Precious Mirror Samadhi is also translated as Jewel Mirror Awareness. Jewel Mirror Awareness. The jewel mirror is an image that's frequently, we come across that in Buddhist writings. And it has to do with our own true nature, that which is always how we are composed, how awareness is foundational and freely given to all of us. The jewel is our true nature. And a jewel has many facets, and each reflecting our life. So awareness moment by moment just is reflecting our life as it is. It's that simple. So when we translate the title as Precious Mirror Samadhi, it's precious because no matter how long it's been hidden from us, or we've forgotten it, or it's covered over by thoughts and habits and inattention and distraction, it never loses its power to illuminate. It is operating all the time, this illumination. It's right here, right now. a mirror reflects an objective world of form and formless, form and the formless. So form is this, anything we see, taste, anything our senses take in. And formless is that which occurs outside of the senses. So a thought, for instance, an idea, a plan, a memory, are all aspects of the formless. And through Zen liberation allows us to really appreciate all that life is aside from words and letters, from language about it. We try to point the way with our words, but actually the way has no entrance. And there's a koan that deals with this, one of 600 koans that deal with this, where the master brings his student tea after they've been sitting zazen. And he asks them, and they've been sitting there with their eyes closed doing zazen. And he says, well, where did you go? And one of the students answers, I entered Samadhi. The master then says, Samadhi has no entrance. Where did you enter from? So where do you enter each moment from? And this is a really great description of the paradox of this teaching and what we meet with our thinking minds all the time in relation to practice. We always come back to, what am I doing? Have you had that experience? I mean, you have moments of clarity where you're just really present, and then other times you're sitting there and you're thinking, well, what am I supposed to be doing? It's amazing how that just, you circle around with that all the time. It's kind of wonderful, actually. So this is what this verse is about. We practice and live into it. And as we do so, our life becomes more and more transparent, more and more clear and open. This is not mysterious, it's very practical, and it's very readily available to all of us. Samadhi refers to the power of the precious mirror, the simultaneous and spontaneous unity of the real and the apparent. The real and the apparent, being one with all that is reflected. So how are we one? Well, how are we one right now? How do we come to a sense of that? And the first response to a question like that is to think about it. But that's not how we know. We know by just going directly into the experience. And when we do that, we free ourselves from separation. Thoughts are about something. There's a thinker and a thing thought about, right? But direct experience doesn't have to do with that. It's not separate like that. And when we're liberated in this way, when we realize the truth of this in our own experience directly, we can really help others. Even when we have one taste of this immediate true wholeness, we have access to it. It shifts our view. And we get more and more interested in it. And I think most of you have had access to it. You've had moments where you really were just free to be whole and complete. And thus we take up Zen practice to incline us ever more fully into that experience of our life. In some Chan monasteries, a mirror is suspended in the meditation hall. And I was thinking it might be kind of fun to find a double-sided mirror and hang it. Anyway, it's just a side thought. But as I came across that, I know in Feng Shui you put mirrors up in various places, but I thought, well, that might be kind of interesting to have a mirror hanging here. But the precious mirror that this teaching is talking about is not an ordinary mirror. It's not, it doesn't have a finite shape or size, or a front or a back, but instead a precious mirror has no edges and no boundaries and is infinite in what it reveals, what it can reveal. Just as our life moment by moment is infinite. We look here and it's one thing. We look here and it's something else, right? It's infinite. At the moment of his enlightenment, the Buddha articulated this. He said, how miraculously wonderful. All beings have the Tathagata's wisdom and virtue. So we awaken to this and we become virtuous in that it informs how we respond to the world. So Tathagata, I use that word, is what we call an awakened one, is a Tathagata. And Buddha is telling us here that when he woke up to his own true nature, the true nature of his own mind, he was one with all of us. He saw that the nature of his mind is the nature of our mind, of your mind, of my mind. Aitken Roshi, my dear first teacher, when somebody would be very discouraged about their life circumstances or their practice or something, he would say, it's because you have the very same nature as Shakyamuni Buddha that this is happening. That's really encouraging. It's like, okay, humans, we all work with the same situation. The mind is capable of awakening to itself. The Dharma is self-revealing, open and clear. Another way of saying this is intimate view. Intimate view is ours to realize for ourselves. We can realize our inmost nature beyond the self that is confused and troubled. All of us, you and me and all of us. Even when we feel confused and troubled sometimes, it doesn't negate our access to what is also true. Precious Mirror Samadhi, the verse begins with the lines, the Dharma of thusness is intimately transmitted by Buddhas and ancestors. Now you have it. Preserve it well. This is the first line that tells us what's going to be following, what it's about. What is the meaning of thusness? The Dharma of thusness. Thusness is tathata, as in tathagata. I guess gata is one, and tathata is awakening. And it means thusness or suchness or just this, as it is, as is. So this refers to the true nature of whatever appears as our life, beyond the concepts, the words, the beliefs, the opinions, the reactions we have to it. What is apparent, what the forms are that fill our life, that make it up, and the functioning of those forms. And what lies beyond the form, beyond the labels. That is what we become attuned to. I'm he is just the cutest little thing. And he, when a baby is a new baby, I don't know if you've been around a new baby recently, but they're a trigger for suchness. They are just so real, and the mind cannot do much with it. There may be, we have the label baby. Baby's kind of a cute word. So it floats around in our thinking mind, but the actual being is way beyond this word and outside the word, and has nothing to do with the word. It's really mysterious in its presence. It looks at you, and you're really looked at. And it doesn't have karma yet. That's not quite true. I mean, some babies have very distinct temperaments, but when they are in quiet alert, they're just clear and open beings with their moist eyes. And they don't even, when they're first born, they don't even know how to see. And their tender flesh it has kind of a glow to it. So you just stand there and behold. I've often thought that that's what the image of the baby Jesus is based in, is that sense that we have of just fresh life that has nothing clinging to it. The Dharma of thusness is intimately transmitted by a baby. So next time you see a baby, really pay attention. The Dharma of thusness is intimately transmitted by Buddhas and ancestors. Now you have it, preserve it well. Intimately transmitted, because it is up to us to receive the transmission, to realize what is being transmitted to us, what is being shared with us, what is being suggested that we notice. And only we can experience it for ourselves. No matter how clear a teacher is, a teacher cannot do that for us. We have to do it ourselves. I mean, I don't mean we have to. We don't have to. We only can. Only I have my experience. You have your experience. Aiken Roshi once gave a Dharma talk, during which time he said, and he was 74 years old. I was way much younger, so I thought he was really old. But anyway, he said, when I look out from under the covers every morning, I'm looking out with the same eyes that I did when I was 4 years old. And I really appreciate what he was saying there. I mean, I liked it at the time. I thought that was great, but he's talking about this, the Dharma of suchness. You have to respect your own experience, give it its full due, and what is direct and what is intimate. And that's a great image, that moment when you wake up in the morning and you're all cuddled and warm in bed and you look out from under the covers. It's just really an intimate moment. And that inmost quality is always available to us, no matter whether we're out on the street, anywhere. We're always having our own experience. So it's really simple. It's really simple. If we get our thoughts and our beliefs out of the way and just notice this moment of life as it is, knowing this quiet transmission, recognizing, allowing for, and receiving the transmission of this moment, the inner home nature of the moment we're truly aware in. One of the images in Precious Mirror Samadhi is a silver bowl filled with snow. That's a terrific image. It's so evocative. Even if we're not in the presence of a silver bowl filled with snow, it reaches through. It reaches through the words. That's how we know it's poetry, right? The meaning does not reside in the words, but a pivotal moment brings it forth. That's another line. The meaning doesn't reside in the words. The meaning of everything does not reside in the words, but a pivotal moment, a moment of real suchness, openness, brings it forth. Whatever is here right now as you turn around. So let's all wake up to this possibility, these pivotal moments, bringing forth our actual life. Now you have it, preserve it well. We inherit the vow of our ancestors in this verse. At the very moment that we realize the true meaning of it, realizing the mind of Buddha, Bodhi mind, we can enjoy no going, no coming, no arising, and no abiding. All words about. And we are restored to our original home, our original intimate present moment, which is free from stress. One of the modern translations of suffering, the first noble truth, is stress. We have easier access to that concept. And so with this, Tozan Zenji asks us to preserve it well, to continue to be fully present, and keep Bodhi mind fresh and open. And just do this continuously. And in so doing, we help. Not only ourselves, but anybody who's in our presence. And that can be a huge relief it's very simple and direct and modest and really a big relief to be in the presence of a person who's just right here. This precious mirror reflects the world in all of its variability and all the sights and sounds and emotions, the opinions, the reactions, the buildings, the earth, the sky. All of it is, this mind of the present moment is always functioning without our concepts and constructions. The self is nowhere to be found and everywhere to be found. So please enjoy this verse and let it transmit its wisdom to you. Receive and maintain it well.